Namaskaram for everybody who's gathered here. This very auspicious evening of Ramanavami. I think I should begin with the question, who does not want to be happy? There's no one in this world who does not want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. That's the basic. So the topic they told me speak about happiness. And this happiness comes from where, how is it experienced? Our scriptures say that we have twin goals in life, which one is Sukha Prapti, the other is Dukha Nivritti. We want to avoid sorrow and we want to enjoy happiness. These are the two sides of the same coin. Now, where does the Sukha comes from? It is the question that we have to ask. Now, we all are in the US, all are educated for sure. Otherwise, you could not have been here. You are the brightest minds because the USA corporate world is very unforgiving. Unless you are extremely bright, you don't find a place here. So it's naturally so. If you go back to Subhashita from the old times, it's very simple. It says, Vidyarada Vinaya, Vinayadyati Patratvam, Patratva Dhanamapnoti, Dhanat Dharmam, Tata Sukham. Which means education, Vidya, should give us Vinaya, which is humility. Because when we are educated, we know how much we don't know, how much is still to be known. That makes us humble. When we know nothing, we think we know everything. And we become arrogant. But true education should be humility in the first step. Vinayadhyati Patratvam. From the Vinaya, humility, we develop eligibility or deservedness. What kind of deservedness? To exist in society amidst all the people, to make friends, to become useful, to become somebody who can add value to the society through various skills, knowledge, and other systems. Nobody wants to work with a person who is arrogant, even if he's very brilliant. Everybody likes humble people. So humility leads to eligibility to do what? The Patsatvam Dharma Apnoti, to earn your Dhana. Dhana is not necessarily only the wealth, money, dollars, but it's also all that we require to live our lives in this world. Good name, good relations, some position, some authority, some recognition, and also wealth. So Patatva Dharmapnoti Dhana Dharmam. And with this wealth of whatever knowledge or resources, what do? We do dharma, it says. Dharma means do the right thing. And Dhana Dharmam, that has come after we have done good with all the resources that we have at our disposal. What happens? We attain Sukha, that is happiness that we were looking for in the beginning. So it's a long process. You just don't go to market and order happiness. It doesn't come like that. You cannot buy it from anywhere. You can't steal it from somebody. You can't borrow it. You can't beg for it. You can't do anything. You have to earn it. Earn it the righteous way. What is the righteous way? Vidya, Vidya from education or whatever you have learned in your life. You should become humble. A tree laden with fruits bends. Vinayadhyati Patratvam. From that humility, that personality of yours, you will become eligible to earn your place in the society. Patratva Dharmapnoti, that is how you earn your wealth. From that wealth, you should do good to each other. And through that goodness, you attain happiness. See, most people think Dhanat Sukham. Let us jump or skip the step of Dharma and say from Dhana, that is wealth, we can attain happiness. That is mostly the model in the US as far as I know. More money, more happiness. That's why they think. Most of the world thinks like the material world. We can attain happiness if we have wealth. It means a bigger car, bigger house, bigger whatever yacht and a private jet and whatever comes after that. Now you can even go to, I believe, other planets. There is somebody who is sending people to other planets for free. So happiness, our idea to attain the next, it goes on and on. It's an endless change. That's what our scriptures say. But the true happiness that we are asking for, our scripture calls it not even Sukha, Ananda it calls. You have heard this word Ananda. Recently I was there in Argentina and the devotee has bought a house. So they are Argentinians. They said, please name our house. It's a tradition in most of the Indian families to name our house. So I wrote Ananda. But on the A I put one dash. Ananda. They're saying Ananda, Ananda. I said, no, it's not Ananda. It's Ananda. First I is long pronunciation, long sound. Ananda. They said, okay, so what is the meaning? I mentioned Ananda and Nanda are two things. Nanda Kumar is here. Nanda Kumar is, of course, Krishna's name. But Nanda means joy. The one born of joy is Nanda. So Nanda is one which is to be joyful. Ananda is the one who is sorrowful. Like Sukha, Asukha. Like that Nanda, Ananda. These are the two things. Which means sometimes you are happy, sometimes you are sad. Beyond this is a state called Ananda. Beyond the dualities of happiness and sorrow, there is a higher state of existence. It is difficult to understand and comprehend that state because either we are happy or we are sad. These are the only two states we know of. We wake up happy today, we wake up sad tomorrow. The day after something goes right, we wake up happy again, and then we become sad again if something doesn't go right. So this goes on. So we just know of these two states as mere whatever mortals. We know of a happy state and a sad state, or very happy state or a very sad state, a very very happy state and a very 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 sad state. Or less happy, less sad, whichever way you call it. We know only these two. But our scriptures say, beyond these two lies another state, where neither you are happy nor sad. It is Ananda, which is beyond these fluctuations of happiness and sorrows. We are constantly, steadily satisfied in that state. And that is the state that we have to ask for. The Upanishad says, what happens when you attain that state, Ananda state? Anando Brahme Divyajana Na Vidheti Udaschaneti. The person who understands that state, who has attained that state of Ananda, never is afraid of anything. Sa Ekam Pavayavad Na Tapati. He never goes through this torment. What torment? Kim Aham Sadhuna Karvam. Kim Aham Agam Karvam Niti. Why did I not do good things? Why did I do wrong things? Such a regret never comes to the person who has attained that state which is beyond ordinary happiness and sorrows. Such a person is never afraid of anything anywhere. He is ever free. So our scriptures talk about a higher state which most of the other scriptures don't talk about. They say if you do good, you attain some happiness. If you do bad, you will be punished. Then there is hell and heaven and the whole structure around it. And a lot of business in the name of religion around it. But our scriptures say, oh, these are all primary school. This is not what you are here for. There is something beyond that, where none of these affect. You are permanently, eternally, steadily happy, steadily satisfied. You don't fluctuate there. So our scriptures now the question that okay, you mentioned that do good and you will become happy. Will that doing good lead you to the highest happiness like this which you are talking about? Yes, it does. It does. But what kind of good it is? It is selfless good. Selfless good is what our scriptures. Selfless good alone can take us to the highest. The selfish good will give us some happiness. For example, you go to somebody's birthday, or somebody comes to your birthday, and you do give the gift and they receive the gift, or whichever way some exchange or something happens, both are happy. You do a business deal, you do ethically, morally, win-win deal, all are happy. That is one type of happiness. But selflessly, when you do something without any expectation of any return, purely out of the joy of doing good to others, that happiness takes you to the next level. Where you don't stay with this sorrow, because in business deal today you do a good deal, you are happy. Tomorrow if you make a loss, you are not happy. That by itself is not capable of keeping you there all the time. You will come down and go up and come down and go up and go on. This is selfless good takes you there, there is no return. So our scriptures say that goodness alone can lead to happiness. And more good it is, more pure, that good is more pure is the quality of that happiness. So why we do all these mission and other things? Because one, I know everybody wants to be happy. Second, happiness comes only by doing good, dharma. And the ultimate happiness comes, that ananda comes only from doing selfless good, not even selfish good. Selfless good, unconditional good, without expectations. That good leads to the happiness of the highest nature. So if you want to wake up every day in the same state, steady state of happiness, not one day sad, one day happy based on which side of the bed you got them from. then we have to strive for selfless good. And you would say, but I'm a man of the world, I have to earn my wealth, I have to take care of my family, I have to spend on my bills, I have to look after everything that is required here. How can I be selfless? Some selfishness will be there. So yes, however, there should be a time in our lives, in every day. For some fraction of the day, we should be doing some selfless good, if not all day long. If people ask me how much good is good, I said, till you feel this is good is not good enough. So I have given a simple formula. I said, based on your age, you do your good. For example, if your age is 25 years old, 25% of your time, energy, resources spend it for good of others. 75% you do it for yourself. When you become 50 years old, 50% of your time, energy, resources you use it for yourself, your family, your personal things. But 50% time you use it for somebody else. Because you've come to a certain stage in life. You don't need everything for yourself. You're simply accumulating action. Then if you grow even older, 75 years old, 75% of your time, energy, resources should be doing selfless good. 25% still you keep it for yourself. And when you grow to 100, you don't need anything for yourself. Everything is for others because you have done so much good that there are others to take care of you. Should you survive till 100? Definitely. And now, it's possible because all longevity is going up. People are living longer than before. So that is the way you have to discipline yourself in doing good. Once in a while, sporadic good is no good. A good which is consistent, steady, and grows with your age. That good will bring us the ultimate happiness, that unconditional. When you are 25-year-old, okay, 25% Swamiji says do good. 75% also has to be good. That could be a little selfish good is what it is. The 25% part has to be a selfless good. You're doing it without any expectation, without anything in it. This is a simple thumb rule. If you follow, we will always be happy. Come what may, whatever be the situations around us. We'll always find that quiet space within where we can go and hide and feel that peace, calm, and happiness. It won't change, changing circumstances. It won't change with what happens in the politics, what happens around the world, what happens to the tariff rates. Doesn't matter. You will still be happy. Some part of it will be affected, but most of you will stay steady. That is the beauty of spiritual practices like doing unconditional. We are in Krishna temple. Shri Krishna himself says, whom do I love the most? What kind of devotee I love the most? In Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga, talks about Bhakti. That he says, Sarvabhuta Hiterataha, those who are ever engaged in the welfare of all, they are very dear to me. Because they are doing exactly what I do. I am always engaged in the welfare of all. I have no duty. I don't have achieved anything in this world. I have attained everything. Mane parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. I have no duty. No kartavya, no duty towards anything. Nobody can make me work for any sin. Yet I keep working for the good of all. Nanavaptam avaptavyam vartadevacha karmani. I have nothing to attain. There is nothing that I have not already attained. Yet I work, Shri Krishna says. For what sake? For the good of all. That is what Krishna inspires his devotees to do. He said, you also do like me. What you should do? Do good to others. Sarvabhuta Hidayata. Be ever engaged in the welfare of all. And then you will be happy. Then you will also be like me. These are Krishna's advices. Very interestingly, there is one beautiful as a part of the Taittiriya Upanishad. It comes there, it's called Ananda Mimamsa. The analysis of Ananda, what Ananda I just mentioned to you, but what kind of Ananda? They talk about grades of happiness. Lower grade happiness, middle grade happiness, highest grade happiness, like. And the Rishi says to the disciple who is learning under him, what is the definition of one unit of human happiness is? We have a lot of different types of happiness. The first is basic unit of human happiness. What is it? It says how one should be to attain one unit of human happiness. If you can quantify, these are all symbolic terms. It says युवा स्यात् साधु युवाध्यायकः आशिष्टो बलिष्ठो दलिष्टः तस्येयं पृथिवीं सर्वां Vittasya purnam syat sa eko manushanandaha. 1 unit of manushananda, joy of man is how much? Said yuva syat sadhu yogadhyayakaha. You should be young forever. Should never grow old. And sadhu, you should be a noble young man or woman. And dhyayakaha, you should be a learned, noble young man forever. What else? He says, Ashishto, Balishto, Drishta, you should be able bodied. Balishta, you should have strength in your body. Ashishto, you should be very persevering. Balishta, very determined. What else? He said, not just that. Tasyayam Prithvim Sarvam Vittasya Purnasya. And you should be the owner of the whole earth and all the wealth in the earth. Then you are 1 unit of human joy. This is the definition of human joy. Can anybody attain even 1 unit of human joy as per the scripture? Can we remain ever young? Not possible. Can we remain ever strong in our body and mind? Not possible. Can we be the most learned person on earth? Not possible. Can we own the earth, whole earth, and all the wealth on the earth? Not possible. So even 1 unit of Manushyananda, none of us have experienced. Then it goes. That is only 1 unit of Manushyananda. Then he says, beyond Manushas, there are other lokas are there and other beings are there. They have different grades of joy. He says, Te Shatam Manushyananda Sa Eko Gandharvananda. 100 units of Manushyananda, human joy, human ananda is equal to 1 unit of Gandharva's joy. Then Gandharva, Deva Gandharva, Manushya Gandharvas are there, then Deva Gandharvas are there. Like that it goes on. Pitrachirloka Lokanam, the Devanam, Indranam, Brihaspati Nam, then Brahmananda. He goes, I calculated once, it is 10 to the power 20 of Manushyananda. That is equal to the true Ananda of gods. Brahmananda. They say, no, when we eat nice laddu, we say Brahmananda only. We are all in the state of Brahmananda, but that's not real. It says to just have 1 unit of man's happiness, you should be young forever, strong in body, mind, most learned, to own all the earth and all the wealth on the earth. Then you might be able to experience 1 unit of human joy. 10 to the power 20 units of this human joy is the joy of Brahma. And on the way there are many layers. So the question is that can we even attain that human Manushyananda? Not possible. Then why these scriptures should waste our time telling about things that is not possible? But what is the shortcut to it? There is a nice, a refrain that keeps running throughout. It says, Shrodhriyasya cha akamahatasya. Same joy can be attained by a person who is Shrodhriya, who is learned in scriptures, who knows the scriptures, in the sense who knows the truth of the scriptures, because he is very, very wise there. And akamahatasya, who has no desires for oneself. That person also enjoys the same amount of joy as a man owning the whole earth and all the wealth in it and remaining young forever enjoys. Or 100 times of it, what the Manushya Gandharvas enjoy. The same joy is also experienced by somebody who is learned in the scriptures, Shrotriya. Shruti means Vedas, scriptures. Shrotriya means the one who has heard it, learnt it. And Akamahatasya, who has no desire for himself. He is absolutely purely selfless. That person also experiences the same thing. So you will see that scripture goes on doing. Sayeko Gandharvanam, Dharate Shatam, Deva Gandharvanam, Sayeko, Samandha, like that it goes on. But for every such grade, it repeats. Shrotriyasya chakamatasya, Shrotriyasya chakamatasya. It's not repeating. It means the same level of joy is experienced by somebody who is learned, well versed in scripture. It means who is knowledgeable, who is wise, and who is selfless, desireless. That person also experiences the same amount of joy. So if you ask me, physical Manushya Ananda is possible? It's not possible because we all can't be young forever. Forget about Brahmananda that we think of, the highest joy of gods. Not possible. But what can we do? Be Shrotriya, be Akamahata. Be learned in the scriptures means know the wisdom of the scripture, which tells us what is right, what is wrong, what is to be done, what is to be avoided, and behave accordingly. And second, be Akamahata, be desireless. And you'll say, how do I live in this world without desires? Do it for the sake of doing, not for your sake, not for somebody's sake, for the sake of doing. That is what is Karmanyavadhikara. Live like that. Have no desire for personal gains. Whatever comes in the process, it's fine. Like you go to the temple, down, you offer some Naivedya, some coconut sweets. Priest takes it and brings back some and gives it to you. You need to take home. Likewise, just offer whatever we have got to do to God. And in return, we get something in return from God as prasad. Use that, that is enough for me. That kind of a simple life with offering of every action to God can also lead us to the same kind of joy because there is no personal desire. Now that makes you the president of the country for whatever reason, become one. Not because you want to be the president of the country, because circumstances, situations, or whatever the need of the country has made you to go there. You don't have a personal desire. So once we start living life, you experience the same amount of joy as a young man who's forever young and strong and all that learned and wealthy and everything. So this is how our scriptures define joy and have true happiness, ananda, not ordinary. And why should you do that? Because once you attain that, you'll never meet with any regrets in life. What is the most painful thing in our lives that is? Because if you break a bone, it is painful. But they say dental issues are even more painful. Now mental issues are painful. But the biggest pain in life is that at the moment of death, if you have regrets, that hurts the most. Just before, imagine closing your eyes and remember those so many topics that we could have done better and you die. That remorse, that regret it is not treatable at all. You can't do anything with it. So if you want to save yourself the regrets at the end of one's life, because today we will forget about it. Why? Because it's very easy to just what you call sweep it under the carpet and forget about it. But at the last one, Prayatikale Krishna says, last moment you will think of things. What are those things? Especially those things you have not done right. They are the ones that will haunt you in the last moments. To save yourself the pain and agony of such regrets, you must attain this kind of state, he says. Because Anandam Brahmano Vidwan, now Vivek Kudashchaneti, he has no fears left. But he's a desireless person, there's no fear left in that person. He's always in the steady state of satisfaction and joy. So this is the highest that he talks about. Now I know you will say this is quite a tall order for just a workaday life person who's to go to office, come back, look after children, as I said, pay the bills and things like that. Yes, but you can begin in a disciplined way. That's what it is, based on your age. My age is 25. I will spend 25 of my whatever I have for the greater good of all, unconditionally. 75 I use it for my own benefit. Then slowly, gradually, as Krishna again teaches Shanai, Paranir, gradually withdraw. Suddenly you come to a talk like this or go to a temple and next day you decide, now tomorrow onwards my life is going to change. I'm not always the same person. I'm going to be very charitable, kind and nice. Won't happen. So vasanas are there for Gurus and must. Don't let go for mind so easily. So slow please. More selflessness, more unconditional service to all, more love, which is unselfish. And one day it will come when you would have reached that state of perfection. When there is no more desires left, nothing for myself, nothing for myself. Everything is for the sake of others or for, as I said, for the divine. This is a process. It doesn't come on one fine day. It takes a lifelong effort, in fact, lives of effort. Now that we are Hindus, we believe in Punarjanma, things like that. So lifetimes of efforts we have to put to reach a state where we are able to become perfect in our selflessness. So selflessness is the key to pure happiness. More selfless you are, pure or the higher is the grade of your happiness. Less selfless you are, lower is the grade of happiness. It depends on you, what you want to give to yourself. Depends on how much selflessness is there. So bhakti helps us to become quite selfless. Bhakti is important. Temples are there. When we go to God, two things we can do. One, go there and ask God for more peace. That is what we think temples are meant for. Gods are meant for. Go there and say, please give me the next promotion, give me this, protect me from that, help me with this. All that is okay. God is ever kind, gives. But till when can we go on like this? One day you have to ask God, make me like you, make me how you are, make me a reflection of yours. That ask will change everything. Because then we start behaving how God behaves. In the sense, we become kind and compassionate and selfless. And we don't fear anything. So it's a process that we have to train our mind. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. But once you reach there, the daily struggle of trying to be happy, trying to avoid sorrow, then sukha prapti, dukha nivriti, you will get rid of this daily drama. Things will go on around you, but you will be steady. The things will go on. Some days, good days, bad days, hot days, cold days, all that will go on, but you won't get affected. That is what the scriptures assure us. If you live a selfless life, your joy is permanent. It is of the highest quality and highest grade. It does not fluctuate with days, times, and situations. And you will lead a peaceful life of no regrets. This is the gift of doing the selfless things in life. This is our scriptures which say that very simply. They say it like, so if you decode it, be more selfless every day, be more kind and compassionate every day, be more loving and considerate every day. Your quality of joy and quantity of joy will start multiplying. It's very simple, isn't it? This is the essence of all our how to attain happiness in life. This is how you attain happiness in life. Every other way of attaining happiness is temporary. It will give you some temporary pleasure, some joy, but it will soon turn into a pain or regret. Then you chase another and another, and this endless chase goes on and on, and we never come to true satisfaction. And finally, we meet our Creator, and we have regrets. We could have done things better, but we did not do it. That regret is very painful, which can be totally avoided if one leads a life of kindness and selflessness. So that is my 2 cents of advice on how to attain happiness and what kind of happiness should you attain. This is how one should lead one's life. Other things will happen. There are difficulties, problems are there. They will say get solved, you attain some happiness first. Then another problem will come. Nobody can avoid all problems and live a life where there are no problems. That is the last thing you should ask for. Baba would joke earlier in India, you have military hotels, no? They will serve non-vegetarian food over there. He would say, you go there and say, I want idli dosa sambar. They tell you, go out, read the board. This is a military hotel, means you won't get any of these things. Get the only other things. So you would say, read the board and then enter the shop. What is the board on this earth? Anityam Asukham Lokam Imam Prapi Ajasvamam Shri Krishna says. The board on top of this planet is Anityam, it is temporary. Asukham, it is full of sorrow. Imam Prapya, having attained this loka, the only solution is Bhajasvamam, think of me, I am the only redeemer here. Because you landed in the wrong shop. So when the definition of the world is that it cannot give you permanent happiness. Good part, it won't give you permanent sorrow also because Anitya both are not possible permanent. But that fluctuation will keep happening. So Krishna says, Imam Prapti Bhajaswam, having attained this world, having landed here, and going through these motions every day, think of me. Think of me means once you think of Krishna, you'll think of his message, his teachings, his life, and you'll follow that. Once you follow that, like the selfless life that Sri Krishna lived, you will also become like him one day. And that is the idea of Sri Ramanavami today, Rama, his life based on Dharma. Dhanat Dharmam, Tadat Sukham, I said in the beginning. From whatever resources you have, do Dharma. Rama did Dharma all the time. Rama Vigrahavan Dharma. He is the embodiment of Dharma, embodiment of righteousness. Then you will say, but he had a miserable life. He did all Dharma, but he was so sad. Lost his wife in the process, his children, were angry with him, and so many things happened. All his life was miserable. The question is not whether he was miserable because he did Dharma. Misery was his lot any which ways. Yet he did Dharma. That is the beauty of Rama. Even though it was misery for him, yet he did not give up the path of Dharma. Some poverty and our morality shakes. We try to cut corners and avoid that sorrow. Rama did not cut corners. He did what was always right. I don't want to open the Pandora's box here. Whether he was right with Sita and all that, that's for another day. When you want to learn about it, why he did what he did. You have to be another Rama to understand this Rama. Otherwise, very difficult to understand why he did, how he did, why, what he did. But yes, he always did Dharma. He was mentioning to them that Sri Rama, when this Purpanaka comes and tries to marry him, and then all that episode happens, Rama says, no, don't marry me, I already have a wife. Go marry Lakshmana, he has no wife in the forest. Then she goes to Lakshmana and says, oh, you marry me. Lakshmana says, if you marry me, you will become the servant of Sita because I am younger than Rama. So you will be the second in the order. You won't be the queen, go marry Rama. Like that, the drama goes on. Then finally, each officer knows whatever, and she goes and complains to her elder brother. who comes and mesmerized by Sita. And all that happens, Sita happens, and things like that. All the misery falls on Rama's head. For no fault of his that. But had he married Surpanaka, no misery. Ravana would have come in trouble. But that was not Dharma. It was Ekapatni Vrata. Only they committed to one. That was his nature. So he did not compromise to get life, easy life. He did what was always right. So Rama's Dharma is the core philosophy. So at that time, Ravana sends Maricha. Maricha is that Rakshasa, who is the son of Tataki. Tataki was another Rakshasi who had come to trouble Vishwamitra in the beginning of Ramayana. You will hear that Vishwamitra comes to seek the help of these young two lads, Rama and Lakshmana from Dasharatha, saying, my yajnas are being destroyed by this demoness Tataki and her sons Maricha and Subhahu. Please come and help me. Send these two boys with me. Dasharatha is very hesitant. He says, these young boys, how will they kill such big Rakshasa? They just returned from the school now. I will come with you. He said, no, I want these two. Because he knew who they were. They just knew who Rama and Lakshmana were. Even Dasharatha's father did not know who they were. Anyways, they go, they kill Tataki, they kill Subahu, the first son, but Maricha, the second one, they don't, he somehow escapes that war. And that Maricha is the cousin of Ravana. So he ends up with his Ravana. Ravana sends this Maricha saying that, go and will distract Rama by becoming a golden deer, so that I can come and abduct mother Sita. So Maricha says, which Rama is this? He said, this Rama from Ayodhya, it seems. Oh, is that Rama? He had given us a hard time when he was very young. Now he's grown up and he's definitely stronger than what he was. He killed my mother and my brother, and you want me to go and deal with him? Ravana said, you better go, because he had this ability to shift shapes. He could become anything, change his voice or face or figure. So Ravana said, you go there. If you don't go, I will kill you any choice. Then Maricha said, better get killed by Rama than being killed by Ravana. So he goes Papa, the becoming golden deer and all. But before that, he tells Ravana, definition of Rama he gives to Ravana. Who is Rama? Because Maricha had a previous experience for Rama. And he tells very good, he says, Ramo Vigrahavana Dharmaha. He is the embodiment of Dharma. He will never do anything that is wrong. Sadhu Satya Parakramaha. He Sadhu is the noblest of all. Satya, embodiment of truth and Parakrami. He is valorous. Rajanam Sarvalokasya. He is the king of the entire world. Forget about Lanka, Ayodhya and all. He is the king of the whole world. Because if he wants, he can conquer the world like this. And Devana Vasava, like Indra is the king of gods, he's the king of all men. Don't go mess with him, man. It's not right. But Ravana Vinashakari, the Buddhi can't think right. The Buddhi Brashta, he does what he does. Look at the definition of a Rakshasa reading definition of Rama. The sages calling Rama as the embodiment of Dharma is one thing. A Rakshasa is telling Rama is Dharma. Don't mess with him. He is the very embodiment of Dharma and Satya, and he also valorous. He is truly the king of the world because he has the capacity to win the whole world. If he wants, he can finish you like this. Don't touch. With that power at his disposal, Rama could have done everything. But he used his power to only protect the virtuous and punish the wrong. He did not use it to win the world. Think of Alexander the Great or somebody else who tried to win or conquer the whole world. He didn't use his powers for all these things. That is Dharma. Dharma is also Vigraha, means there's this restraint is Dharma. When you have power, wealth, position, might, you can misuse it very easily to fulfill your ambitions. But yet you don't do it. You use it for the good of all. That is Dharma. Again, Rama stands for that. So many beautiful things about Rama, so also Krishna. And these people have taught us, though their life may look miserable at the face of it, when you look at their life and say, oh, how difficult it was. But more importantly, what they're trying to teach is, despite difficulties, they never gave up the path of Dharma. Probably if they had given up the path of Dharma, they would have been more miserable. By doing the wrong thing, they would have been more miserable. That is why Dharma is the basic fundamental value, and Dharma is selfless good. Greater good and selfless good to all is Dharma. The one who does that Dharma attains the happiness. Purity of your actions is equal to purity of your happiness. Quality of your actions is equal to quality of your happiness. Intensity of your efforts is equal to intensity of your happiness. So happiness can be only attained. This is the only permanent way of attaining happiness. All other ways are temporary. They might look like they're working, but it will soon collapse. So why work for something that is not going to last? Why waste money? If you are going there buying a big car, and you just found out that in 2 years this car will not be useful because doesn't last, the engine is not good or whatever. Then why would you waste money on that? Likewise, why would you waste your life on attaining happiness that won't last? We rather spend time and energy on attaining happiness that will last. What's the happiness? Be wise, don't run behind shadows, and be desireless, more selfless. More you're selfless, the happier you will be. That is our scriptural truth. As Adi Shankara says, don't believe anybody who says anything to you. You test it out. Three things are there. There should be proof in the scripture. The scripture should say that. When your guru says this is what you should do, go check with the scripture. The scripture also say that. That is very short. So Pramana should be there. Shruti Pramana should be there. So then Tarkavada, argue it out in your own mind. Okay, last time I was very selfish. It looked very nice, but after that realize he regrets and misery. Yes, I did. It means it is to argue it out in your own self, in way. Swamiji says, no, some person you have to always spend for the greater good of all unconditionally. Does it give me greater joy, a higher quality of joy? Does that joy last? Ask yourself this question. And third is Swanubhava. Experience it for yourself. Whatever the scriptures are saying, whatever you have argued in your head, go and test it out. So whatever I say, don't believe, but test it. Try to do selfless good and try to experience that quality of joy. And compare it with all other kinds of joy that you experience. And then decide for yourself whether it works or it does not work. So that is the basic way of how things should be done. That is all from my side.